If you're one of those people that you got problem with black people or whatever, you better shut your mouth, because they're God's people. You better hear what I'm saying to you. If you're one of those people that you got problem with black people or whatever, you better shut your mouth, because they're God's people. You better hear what I'm saying to you. You better shut your white mouth. You better shut your white mouth. I'm not kidding you. I know some of you was raised in the deep South, and you was raised by prejudiced people and bigoted people. You better get that out of your system. You better get it out of your system. It'll cause you to suffer right along with those masters. It'll cause you to suffer right along with them. These are God's people. And I know that there's wicked in white races and wicked in black races and all that. I'm not justifying none of that stuff. I'm just saying God knows what happened to the black race. He knows how they wound up over here, and God is going to reimburse the black people for all their trouble and all their...
All right, Shalom, this is Gamal Yala out of Great Millstone, Atlanta. I want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim that pushing out this truth and sincerity. All right. Now, what you just saw is a pastor by the name of, John Kilpatrick. All right. And he basically openly admits that the so-called blacks are God's people. Now, does he say that in a Christian sense? Yes. Because now, despite what he says is true, because number one, the so-called blacks are God's people, but you have to believe, or you have to understand that when he says it, he's saying it from a Christian standpoint, because he also believes that the so-called whites are God's people as well. So that's just a disclaimer. But what he's saying is still true, okay? That the blacks, the so-called Negroes, okay, you are God's people, along with the so-called Native Americans and the so-called Hispanics and Latinos, all right? You are God's people as well, all right? And he said, you better get that out of your system. Hey, it's true, man. You so-called whites, you better get that out of your system, all right? Because pretty soon, you know, the so-called, or I'll say the Israelites are going to take you out of your power, right? Excuse me. So let's go ahead and prove it that the so-called blacks are God's people. All right. Deuteronomy 7:6, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. All right. So yeah, what he just said is that the blacks are God's people. All right. Now, what he fails to realize is that we are above the so-called whites, okay? Because, like I said, the way he's defending the blacks is, in a sense, to say that they're equal to the so-called white man, all right? He's not saying it from a standpoint that the Israelites are superior, all right? He's basically saying it from a anti-racism mindset, right? However, it doesn't matter. Like I said, what he's saying was true. It's, you know, the truth comes out, man. You know, whether he meant to say it or not, he still said it, all right? But you Israelites, you're above all the nations of the earth, okay? Matter of fact, let's get this. 2 Ezra 6:54. All right, it says, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. Yet for whose sakes? For the Israelites, and specifically the elect of the Israelites. All right, but it says, all this have I, verse 56. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. All right, so these other nations, all right, he's not dealing with them. All right, the Lord hates them. Okay, these other nations were really just created to be destroyed. All right, when you read Rome, and I always, bring this up, but when you read Romans 9, it goes into the objects of mercy and the objects of wrath. Esau being the objects of wrath. Esau, the so-called white man. Proverbs 16:4. He hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. All right. So going back to 2 Ezra 6:54, it said that they are nothing. Okay, so they're like unto spittle. He created them to be destroyed. All right. But let's go back to the video.
If you're one of those people that you got a problem with black people or whatever, you better shut your mouth, because they're God's people. You better hear what I'm saying to you. You better shut your white mouth.
Yeah, he said you better shut your white mouth. I thought about naming this lesson that, but that's true, man. You better not speak against the Lord's people. Matter of fact, let's get this. Let's get Zechariah 2:8. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. All right? So we're literally the apple of the Lord's eye. So you better shut your white mouth, man. Basically what he's saying. He said,
you better shut your white mouth. Or whatever, you better shut your mouth, because they're God's people. You better hear what I'm saying to you. You better shut your white mouth. You better shut your white mouth. I'm not kidding you. I know some of you was raised in the deep south, and you was raised by prejudiced people and bigoted people. You better get that out of your system. You better get it out of your system. It'll cause you to suffer right along with those masters. It'll cause you to suffer right.
Yeah. It said it's going to cause you to suffer, which it is going to cause you to suffer, because you're going to go into slavery. You so-called whites. All right, you are going to suffer. You're going to suffer a very brutal slavery for what you did unto the Lord's people. We just read that. The Israelites are the apple of the Lord's eye.
You better get it out of your system. It'll cause you to suffer right along with those masters. It'll cause you to suffer right along with them. These are God's people. And I know that there's wicked in white races and wicked in black races and all that. I'm not justifying none of that stuff. I'm just saying God knows what happened to the black race. He knows how they wound up over here, and God is going to reimburse the black people for all their trouble and all their life.
All right, now he made a heavy point. He said that God knows The Most High knows how the Israelites got here to the Americas. He knows what was done to them. And we always bring this precept out. And this is really Israelite 101, you know. This is really the basics. But hey, you know, you got to go into these things sometimes. Revelations 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay? So what he's saying about, you know, God knows what happened to the, in his words, black. All right? Well, yeah, he knows. And it said he's going to basically give them
White race, he knows how they wound up over here, and God is going to reimburse the black people for all their
reimbursement.
trouble.
I was looking for the word. All right. So, hey, God is going to reimburse us. Now, how is the Lord going to reimburse us? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. All right. Just like he said, we were brought here into captivity. All right. Via the slave ships. All right. So those that oppressed us shall go into captivity. All right. Here is the patience. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna matter of fact, let's get this. Isaiah 14:2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captive they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Okay? So yeah, we're going to take them captives, whose captives we were. Okay? And that's how the Lord is going to reimburse us. If we're talking about reimbursement. Now, maybe this guy doesn't understand that. Maybe he does. You know? Because he's actually on point with what he's saying. You know? Basically, and really, to be honest, basically he's prophesying in a sense. You know, that doesn't make him a prophet, but what he's saying is factual. You know, because he said that basically the Lord is going to reimburse the Israelites. All right. So we're literally going to possess them and rule over them, rule over the other nations. Okay. Because they did us dirty, man. And we can't forget, of course, we can't forget how we were brought over here. Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there shall ye be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Yeah, so the Lord knows how we got here. He wrote it. He wrote how the so-called Negroes went into slavery. So this was actually prophesied, all right? And we know it's not talking about ancient Egypt because it says they shall go into Egypt again, okay, with ships, all right? So it should be perfectly clear, all right? Let's get this. Numbers 35 and 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Okay? So that's reimburse. Lord's going to reimburse. And part of really another word for reimburse is payback. Okay, so we're going to get payback upon our enemies. We're going to get a reimbursement. He's going to basically, give us basically everything that the so-called white man has. Okay, he's going to give to us, including power, man. All right. So, that's pretty much it on that. Like I said, this was really just a quick basics lesson. But I saw that video and just wanted to touch on it. So the Lord willing, you were edified, giving all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, Shalom.